Welcome to The Explainer. Now, if you're tuning in right now, there's a very good chance you are feeling the heavy, kind of invisible weight of daily life on your shoulders today. And before we get into any data, any science, or any strategies, I want to start by just validating exactly where you are. It is absolutely okay to feel exhausted. We demand so much of ourselves in this fast-paced world. And frankly, just keeping up can literally feel like a marathon. But hey, you've taken a moment out of your day to be here, to figure this whole thing out, and that is a massive first step.
Let me ask you this directly. Do you feel stressed every single day? Does your mind feel like a phone battery constantly running on 1%, while your body just feels inexplicably heavy just trying to get out of bed in the morning? Do you find that even the smallest, most insignificant things, like a slow internet connection or someone cutting you off in traffic, just completely annoy you and set you off? That brisk, urgent, overwhelmed feeling is so incredibly common right now. We're moving at a million miles an hour, and our minds are basically just scrambling to keep up the pace.
But we are going to fix that methodically today. First up, understanding your daily stress. Second, physical resets for quick calm. Third, fueling body and mind. Fourth, protecting your mental space. And fifth, remembering that you are not alone. This structured roadmap is going to show you that the solutions are actually entirely manageable.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Section 1. Understanding your daily stress.
First things first, it's really important to remember that stress is not a personal failure. It's actually just the body's natural reaction to pressure. It's a biological imperative that's meant to protect us in short bursts. But let's be real, daily stress has become an inescapable part of modern life. We are constantly bombarded by systemic triggers. We're talking too much work, chronic lack of sleep, demanding studies, complex family problems, and that endless, exhausting loop of overthinking. And we absolutely can't forget how modern habits, like our constant connection to social media, play a huge role in keeping our stress response permanently switched on. The big problem here is that ignoring this baseline level of stress is incredibly dangerous. It leads to poor sleep, which just creates this awful vicious cycle. It causes a chronically bad mood that messes with your relationships. It drains you into a state of low energy, making even simple tasks feel impossible. And it creates a severe lack of focus. Ultimately, it leads to declining physical health. The stakes are simply too high here, folks. You really cannot outrun chronic stress. It will absolutely eventually catch up to your biology.
Moving right along, Section 2, physical resets for quick calm. Now, I want to intentionally slow down our pacing right here, because one of the absolute fastest, most effective ways to calm your mind is the deep breathing technique. And I mean it. I want you to physically participate and do this with me right now in real time. Ready? Take a slow, deep breath in, really filling up your lungs completely. Now hold it for just a few seconds. Feel that stillness. And then slowly, gently breathe out, releasing all that built-up tension. Doing that for literally just 1 minute acts as a neurological reset. It signals to your brain that you are safe, naturally lowering your heart rate and your tension. Alongside breathing, we have quick ways to move your body. And I want to be super clear. This isn't about training for a marathon. Exercise is not just for fitness. It's a vital biological tool for mental clarity. Go take a short walk around the block. Do some simple stretching at your desk. Try dancing in your living room, or really any light exercise. Why does this work so fast? Because when you physically move your body, your brain releases neurochemicals like endorphins that actively make you feel happier. It's like hitting a biological reset button that flushes the stress right out of your system. Section 3, fueling body and mind. And this brilliantly illustrates how our daily choices directly dictate our stress levels, acting as either increasers or relievers. Look at our diet. Junk food and caffeine might give you a quick energy spike, right? But they are massive stress increasers. They lead to a biological crash that just heightens your anxiety. The relievers? Water, protein, fruits, and nuts. They give you stable, grounding energy. Now for rest. A lack of sleep pretty much guarantees higher stress, while getting proper sleep and establishing peaceful routines builds a literal fortress against it. And regarding our habits, constant scrolling is a huge stress increaser, totally overstimulating your nervous system. Contrast that with taking nature breaks or reading a book, which actively lower your heart rate and center your mind. So the absolutely crucial point here is this number, 7. Getting at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep is a biological, foundational requirement. You simply cannot hack your way out of sleep deprivation. A rested mind processes stress completely differently than an exhausted one. And the best way to hit that target number? Avoid your phone before bed. Seriously, the blue light and the constant dopamine hits from scrolling completely destroy your peaceful routines. Build a rested mind, and the stress becomes so much easier to handle.
Section 4, protecting your mental space. Overthinking steals your peace. I just want to give you a moment to really let that sink in. Think about how much of your daily energy is consumed by worrying about things that haven't even happened yet. When you overthink, it's like you're paying interest on a debt you might not even owe. It literally steals your peace of mind, leaving you completely exhausted before you've even taken any real action. It really all comes down to recognizing this choice. Thinking about everything at once versus focusing on what you can control today. When you try to juggle everything at once, your brain basically freezes. It's way too much data for your working memory to process. We have to consciously shift that mindset. You got to remind yourself that not every single problem requires an immediate solution. Some things can absolutely wait. Focus only on what you can control today, right in this very moment. Because sometimes the absolute most productive thing you can do is simply give your mind permission to rest. And how exactly do we facilitate that rest? Well, we have to deliberately step away from the constant social media scrolling, which is notorious for making the mind exhausted without you even realizing it. Instead, we need to find alternative ways to take small breaks. Spend actual present time with your family. Go outside and get some natural light to reset your circadian rhythms. Read a physical book, or just sit with a cup of tea and enjoy a quiet moment. Doing these quiet activities deliberately prevents that mental exhaustion from sneaking up on you. Section 5, you are not alone. I really want to reassure you with this quote. Sometimes sharing your feelings is the first step toward healing. You absolutely do not have to carry all of this stress by yourself. It is so incredibly easy to isolate yourself when you're feeling overwhelmed. But honestly, talking to a trusted friend, a family member, or a professional makes a massive, tangible difference. It takes that swirling chaos in your head and makes it manageable by bringing it out into the open. Sharing the burden genuinely lightens the load. I'm going to leave you with this final thought today, because your mental health matters just as much as your physical health. We celebrate people going to the gym to build their bodies, right? But managing your stress is how you build your mind. I want you to feel empowered today. Start with small daily changes. Breathe a little deeper. Put the phone away a little earlier. Go for a quick walk. You already have the tools to take control of your daily stress before it controls you. So here's my question for you. What is the very first boundary you are going to draw today to protect your peace? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll leave you to think on that.